What's going on, Colts Nation? I appreciate you joining me for another video where in this one, I want to talk a little bit about A.D. Mitchell, right? So many different takes that I've seen and once we get past this video, we're done with this. We're going to move on and hope for the best. But I've seen so many outrageous takes about A.D. Mitchell. So I just wanted to go through, give my opinion on how I see this situation, right? So many people with the overreaction after the game or even during the game of, hey, get this dude off the team, leave him in LA. He should be cut. He should be on the practice squad. He shouldn't be available to play on Sunday. And it's just the takes are crazy. Now, Shane Steichen did say that, what he does get, he's going to have to earn. He's going to have to earn it and earn the right to be on the field. So, we may be in a position where we see less A.D. Mitchell and more Ashton Dulin this upcoming week and maybe in the next few weeks. I saw somebody with the idea of putting him on kickoff return. And I thought, honestly, that's really kind of a good idea with the speed that he has, as physically imposing as he is. I think that's not the worst idea in the world. If you're going to play Ashton Dulin, then Ashton Dulin is a really good returner, but switch their roles for a couple weeks. Make Ashton Dulin wide receiver 4 and have A.D. Mitchell be wide receiver 5 and have him be a returner on the kickoff coverage. I think that wouldn't be the worst idea in the world. Anthony, I don't know how he would do as a returner. I don't know how much of that he's done in his career. I'm just going to throw that out there. But to sit here and say that somebody with as much talent as A.D. Mitchell should be cut is crazy. We're a team that, please remember, right? 2 years ago, we were starving for wide receiver depth, right? Alec Pierce wasn't coming along yet. He wasn't what he is now, right? And part of that, yeah, you can throw back to quarterback play being what it was, right? Alec Pierce's first year, we had Matt Ryan. It just wasn't working out with Anthony Richardson, not really working out entirely. But Alec Pierce's continued development, right? We just had the video last night about Alec Pierce potentially getting paid, right? So going forward, right, you look at what we have in receiver depth, and it's maybe the best receiver depth we've had in my life. Right? Maybe not, superstar talent and Hall of Fame talent in terms of, growing up, we had Marvin Harrison, Reggie Wayne. We ended up getting guys like Brandon Stokely. We had Dallas Clark as a receiving option. Now we have Tyler Warren. And, right, those teams, you look past Brandon Stokely, then you go a little forward. You get Pierre Garçon, you get Anthony Gonzalez, you get T.Y. Hilton later on, right? But in terms of like the full roster of receivers, like this is we have incredible depth, right? To have Ashton Dulin as wide receiver 5, A.D. Mitchell, for as talented as he is, obviously the problems that he has when he's on the field are evident, but the talent that he has, his ability to run every route, his ability to create separation, his ability to be able to get off the line and burn somebody, like he's honestly probably our most talented receiver. Like if you take everything into account, he's probably our most talented receiver. It's those small things that become big things that are a problem right now. And we got to work on that, right? Same that we had to work on things with Alec Pierce, right? Different issues. Alec Pierce came in as a go ball guy. There's a lot of development that had to happen with Alec Pierce. And as we continue to go along, Alec Pierce just continues to get better and better. A.D. Mitchell's a guy that I'm not going to give up on, right? I'm just not. He's way too talented to be like, oh, you should cut this guy. Oh, you should put this guy on the practice squad. He shouldn't be active. What if we go into a game and we end up with, a rolled ankle and a concussion, and like, we have Anthony Gould at the bottom of the depth chart. So if A.D. Mitchell ends up not available for a game for whatever reason, right? And let's just say we end up down Pitt and Downs, right? So then you're rolling out, if AD's not available, you're rolling out Alec Pierce as wide receiver 1, Ashton Dulin wide receiver 2, and Anthony Gould in the slot. And again, because we have depth at wide receiver, that's great. But then what if something happens to one of those guys? right? And this is unlikely. Like losing that many players in one game at one position is unlikely and would be truly unlucky. But it just goes to the point, like, we have depth. He's incredibly talented. It really doesn't make any sense to me why people are like, hey, we should cut this guy. Like, it's understandable to be mad. Now, I will say, what AD Mitchell did saved me in my Dynasty League, right? The dude I was going up against started Jonathan Taylor and AD Mitchell. I won that matchup by, I believe it was 6.05 points, if I'm not mistaken. 6.05, I think that's it. And so if AD scores a touchdown and then Jonathan Taylor scores a touchdown and gets those yards, I lose. Right? So it kind of worked out for me. I'm a little less mad about it. I'm not going to lie to you. But also, like, this is a really young guy, man. And a lot of the same conversation that we've had about Anthony Richardson. The difference is that for Anthony Richardson, a lot of his development is on the field. We need, and he's a really young guy. These young dudes, like I'm 32 years old, right? I went through the early 20s, the mid 20s, the late 20s, the development that happens as a person, right? And those are the things AD's currently going through, is his development as a person, which in his case goes to professionalism and things on the field and the things he needs to work on in that regard. But he's still really young. I'm not going to give up on him. This is a learning lesson, right? Jonathan Taylor, what happened to him? So many people were upset with Jonathan Taylor about how that went down. And since then, there were actually stats that I saw, and I hope I saved them somewhere. But I know in the 7 games since Jonathan Taylor let go of that ball, since that Denver game last season, in the 7 games after, he has more than 1,000 yards. Okay, I did save it. Good thing. So, yes, Jonathan Taylor has played in 7 games since that point. He has 1,061 yards, 10 touchdowns, 0 fumbles. Right? So, Jonathan Taylor, I mean, just in 7 games, that's 7 games worth of stats. 1,061 yards and 10 touchdowns on the ground. That's not even, going over what he's done through the air. So mistakes are going to happen. Jonathan Taylor is a star in this league, and right, coming back from what happened, and it's a lot of what we talked about coming into the season. I knew Jonathan Taylor was going to be great because of what happened at the end of last season. After the Denver game, he was incredible. Right, so coming into the year, I expected him to be incredible, and he has been. With AD Mitchell, I expect this to be a massive learning lesson. I expect him to take this and Reggie and all the things that Reggie, I'm sure is in his ear about and talking to him about. And, there's a part of, you make him feel better, but also a part of Reggie's not about the BS. Reggie's a future Hall of Famer. Okay, he's not going to BS him. He's not going to sugarcoat it. He's going to let him know, like, you messed up. You essentially took 14 points off the board for us in an incredibly important game. And we should have been able to win that game. Like I'm sure those conversations are happening or had happened. And so AD, Reggie, I love that we have Reggie. Let's just say that. I love that we have Reggie to be able to talk to these guys, because he understands what it's like to be a top flight receiver in the NFL and the pressure that comes with that and being one of those guys. So, I expect him to continue to be a depth piece for us. It's as long as we're healthy at that receiver position, then he's not going to have a major role in the offense. We're going to see him get on the field. He'll probably get 1 or 2 catches every game, and because of his ability and the way he's able to get open. I think Daniel Jones trusts him, and he should. But it's those small things he needs to work on. So for me, no, you don't cut him. I think he's a valuable part of the team, despite what happened this past week. And really before what happened this last week, right? Those first 3 weeks, again, he doesn't have a huge role in the offense, but what he does when he comes on the field, he moves the chains. Right? Like every time he catches the ball, he's moving the chains. Right? So really like what AD can be for us. Just got to continue to develop as a player and as a man, and learn from the mistakes. That's really all we can do, man. I was This time last year, when I was 31 years old, I made massive mistakes, right? Couldn't get out of my own way, and ended up costing me something near and dear to me, right? And all I could do from that is take my mistakes and learn from it, right? We're all human, right? There has to be a human aspect to it. Yeah, these guys go out every day. We're fans of the team. We want them to win. We want them to perform. And if they don't, we're like, oh man, like, what are we doing? You know what I mean? And the criticism that comes along with being, famous and being a pro athlete and all that. But we just have to remember there's a human element to it. He's a good kid, dude. He really is. He's a good kid. He made some mistakes and he'll get better for it. And so that's where I'm at with this, and I hope that you guys join me in that thought process. I think that's the rational way to think about this. But whatever the case, you guys let me know what you're thinking. How you feeling about AD now that we're a couple days removed? What are your thoughts on AD? What do you think we should do with him? Should he just stay in the role that he's in? What's the accountability, I guess, that should happen with AD, and how should the team go about it? What are your thoughts surrounding this situation now that we're here on Wednesday? Again, a couple days removed from what happened on Sunday. You guys let me know down in the comment section. I'd love to hear where Colts Nation is at on this whole situation right now. And of course, if you enjoy the content, make sure to hit the like button. Make sure you guys subscribe with notifications on. Got plenty of content coming up throughout this week. And of course, we're going to be live on Sunday once again. So with that, I appreciate you stopping by for another video. And as always, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and go Colts.